Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast. We cover everything Major League, from spring training to the World Series. We've got your favorite club covered, from New York to Boston to LA. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast.
Oh, what is up? Welcome to the GSMC Baseball Podcast on a Wednesday here today. Interesting couple of days to start off the week in the major leagues, as your Oakland Athletics now are one game back of the Astros. Just a little PSA right there. Astros have lost, I think, 9 straight home games? Was that what it was? They lost a lot of games in a row at home. Last night, Verlander gets beat by the Rockies late in that game. Actually, he pitched pretty well and gave up 2 runs, but those injuries just coming at the wrong time. I think Correa is back. They're still waiting. Where obviously Springer just got hurt last week, and then same thing with Altuve is still a couple weeks or a week or so away, I think, from coming back. We'll do a little prognosis check on him throughout the show here, but just leading it off before we get into the scores and update the scores and game coverage for the last 2 days. Take a check of your standings. The National League is still just muddled up right now. You look at the it's funny because I know on the MLB at Bat app it doesn't give it to you, but if you go on MLB.com, actually MLB.com, and you go over to the standings on that website, and then you can click on playoff percentage, like percentage of the team making the playoffs. You can find out exactly what, at least by their algorithm, they think your team has a chance, and actually it'll give you throughout the whole season how the percentages have changed and everything. Like they thought that this thing, I honestly sometimes think it's kind of a crock a little bit. So they have the Nationals. I think the Nationals still have a 31% chance of making the playoffs according to this algorithm. Maybe they have a week, if they have a week scheduled to end the season or whatever it is. I know they're going to have some games against the Phillies and the Braves. It's not going to be easy. Or the fact that they see postseason projections. So if you hit postseason projections, it'll give you that, and you can go division by division. You can do the wild card, which will give you the entire league, AL or NL. So looking at the NL wild card right now, it is just crazy looking at it compared to looking at the American League wildcard. There's so many teams involved. You go to today's at the end of yesterday, the 14th. You had the Nationals still have a 31% chance of making the playoffs, even though the Giants are actually ahead of them, and so are the Rockies, so are the Cardinals, so are the Nationals are actually the last team left of all those teams in the wildcard right now at 6 games back in the wildcard behind the Giants, Pirates, Dodgers, Rockies, and Cardinals. Cardinals are a game back. 1 game. They've won 7 in a row. As you've seen, they've gone with the late inning heroics, especially, as they're now 10 games over 500. I think that's the highest of the year. They've won 9 of the last 10, as the Cardinals have just leapfrogged themselves into contention in the wild card. Is like, it says 29% right now. That's below the Nationals 31%, and that's just I don't know whether you're going to have tough games ahead against the Cubs and the Brewers. Okay, yeah. So the Nationals are going to have tough games ahead against the Phillies and the Braves, and I think those two teams, honestly, have shown more sustainability over the whole season than the Brewers and the Cubs. Even though the Brewers and the Cubs are definitely the more veteran teams. Both of them have a much more veteran presence, even though the Braves are fine. They have 2 veterans on that team. They actually have more than 2 veterans on that team just in their lineup, Markakis and Freeman, who play every day. And they also have good pitchers who they bring back Johnny Venters for the shore up that bullpen. The rotation's been just fine. And then obviously, when all of a sudden Ronald Acuna just goes off and hits 6 home runs in a week, seemingly, then I think you're just fine, as the Braves now sit at 67 and 51. They've won 4 in a row as well, and they are And they are still now 2 games up in the first place in the East above the Phillies, who have lost their last 2 games. So that was a swing right there. And then you see the Cardinals now 4 games back in the Central after their 7-game winning streak there for St. Louis, as they are now. They played yesterday and they play again today against the. I'm trying to see who the Cardinals played. The Nationals. So they play Nationals again at home. I know the Nationals taking in a couple on the chin. Or at least, a couple on the chin, at least on Saturday. And what a back-to-back day games for Nationals fans. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday must have just been absolutely horrendous. No offense, but yeah, that was a rough way to lose on Sunday, and then you lose on Monday again in very similar fashion. Is rough, and then you had the Cubs lose. And we're going to go over the scores, obviously, from Monday and Tuesday, and we'll actually, you know what, let's start it right now as we'll go to that. Let's start with the Nationals game. Might as well start with that Nationals-Cardinals game in St. Louis. Obviously, as the Nationals were up in this game for after it was tied 2-2 most of the game. The Nationals took a 4-2 lead in the 7th. Closed it, then had the shutdown inning in the 8th. Held that 4-2 lead till the bottom of the 8th inning, when then the Cardinals scored 4 times to make it 6-4. Going in the top of the 9th inning, the Nationals. Oh, you think after losing that game in a walk-off, you're down on your luck? No, you score twice, tie the game. You're still in it. You get a game-tying hit by, I think it was in the 9th inning. Game-tying hit by Matt Wieters, a single to tie it up, 6-6, only to get walked off in the bottom of the inning by Paul DeJong with solo shot off of Coda Glover to win that game. And the Nationals, they have I don't know who their play-by-play guy is, but FP Santangelo is he's from the Bay Area. He used to play for the Giants for briefly, but he's their color guy. He's their analyst, and neither of them, they were silent for probably from the contact till well after the Cardinals had started celebrating that walk-off win. But so you know that one. So the home runs in this one, as we go back to our normal thing. Matt Carpenter, he must have been in a slump, because he's only hitting 280, but he's gotten a bunch of hits, a bunch of home runs lately. He went 2 for 4 again on Monday. Had 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored, as he hit his 33rd home run of the year, a 3-run shot in that 8th inning, which was a big blow there to give the Cardinals the lead again. In that one, as we go to the rest of the home runs, Jed Jerko hit his 9th, and Paul DeJong, obviously the walk-off, that was a big one. That was his 13th of the year. The Nationals had home runs from Bryce Harper, his 29th, and Juan Soto, his 15th. Harper, I mean, he's kind of fallen under the radar, obviously, but the Nationals kind of fallen off of themselves, even though apparently they have a 31% chance of still making the playoffs at 16-59 right now. Which is identical record with the Giants. Or actually, the Giants are 61-60, so still a game over 500. Very similar win percentage, but it is what it is. That's them. So you know, that was the Cardinals winning 7-6. Back to the top, as the Giants and Dodgers started off a series in LA yesterday on a Monday, or actually, sorry, on Monday. It was 2 days ago. As they win 5-4, they're trailing 2-1 going into the 9th inning. They score 4 times in the top of the 9th inning to take that 5-2 lead, as it was a Nick Hundley single that scored 2. Corky Hernandez added a run with a single, and then Steven Duggar actually scored was able to reach on an error, scoring in the 5th run of that game for the Giants, as there were no home runs in this game, except for a Justin Turner solo shot off of Madison Bumgarner, his 7th of the season. As that was the only run I think Bumgarner, or one of 2 runs that Bumgarner gave up. He went 6 innings, allowed 2 runs on 7 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, a homer allowed, as he took no decision in that one. Kershaw was good. He went 8 innings of 1-run ball, 4 hits, no walks, 9 strikeouts, as he had 110 pitches. But I bet you, no injuries, no issues this year with Kershaw. He finishes that game off. The Dodgers might win that one, as they would have had him probably pitch in the 9th inning there, but instead it was they're going closure by committee with the injury to Kenley Jansen. So it was Sean Alexander on Monday, and he gave up the 3 runs earned, 4 total because of the earned error. But all for Giants win 5-2 in that one. Braves beat the Marlins 9-1 on Monday as Touki Toussaint gets his first win in his first start as a major leaguer. His major league debut was very nice as he went 6 innings of 1 ball, 2 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, shutting down the Marlins over most of that game. Home runs for the Braves came from, the one came from Ronald Acuna, his 16th of the season now, as he's really turned it on lately, especially with the long ball, as the Braves win big time there. 9-1. The big one was a 5-run 6th inning for the Braves. As I want to give you the line here, as Acuna was pacing it. Camargo had 2 hits. Albies had 2 hits, and Acuna had 2 hits. So all the young guys. If it's not the young guys, the veterans can carry him. If it's not the veterans, the young guys can carry him. It's kind of how it works. And that was game 1 of a doubleheader. Game 2, the Braves won as well, 6-1. In this one, Mike Voltynewicz gets the win, as he moves to 10-7, 8 innings of 1 ball, 5 hits, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts for him. Very nicely done. Acuna hit another home run, his 17th. Freddie Freeman added his 19th of the year in this one as the Braves win easily again at home. On Monday, the Mets beat the Yankees 8-5 in that one-game little series they had there between Jacob deGrom and Luis Severino was the starters, as Severino got beat up in this one, giving up 4 runs on 7 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, 2 homers allowed in 4 innings pitched. As what I say, the Mets even made a joke about it on their Instagram. They actually go look at the Mets Instagram page. It says it's a video of the home run by Rosario in the first inning off of Severino, and he hit a pop up, basically, like I'm telling you, pop up that went over the wall in right field. And their caption was so perfect. It's like, because the Mets play next week. The Mets play I think the Cardinals or somebody in there's the Little League World Series game during the Players Weekend. In a couple weeks when the Little League World Series starts. I think it is next week. The Mets will be playing that game in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. I think last year the Cardinals played. I think it was Cardinals Pirates last year. I think it'll be Braves Mets this year. I can double check that. But the whole point is that they said, "Oh, we're not playing the Little League Park till next week," making it sound like the Yankee Stadium is a Little League Park, which it is. So we know. I've been ranting about it for the last 2 months. But there you go. They got hit. They got a little taste of their own medicine there. The Yankees did with that pop-up home run. The Mets also had home runs from Todd Frazier, his 11th. Michael Conforto hit his 16th of the year, and Jose Bautista, his 9th. Brendan Nimmo added his 15th of the season, as the Mets turned that park into a home run derby haven there for their team. As the Yankees, they had a home run from Miguel Andujar, his 18th of the year. That was the only one he would have, or only a real blemish there for the Yankees pitching, other than the 2 runs that DeGrom gave up. But the home run, only one for the Yankees, was by Andujar there. They lose 8-5. Tigers beat the White Sox 9-5 as they got 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning, actually after they scored 2 in the bottom of the 7th inning to get closer in that one. Or actually, they took the lead there, and with those 2 runs, and then they added on 3 more in the bottom of the 8th, as they got home runs. In this one, from Nick Castellanos, his 17th of the season for the Tigers. That was it. And then the White Sox had a home run from Navarez, his 5th, and Engel, his 4th of the season for the White Sox, as they lose 9-5. Indians beat the Reds 10-5, as Mike Clevenger was good in this one. The beginning was a 7-run 6th inning for the Indians, as Jose Ramirez paced it. He was 3 for 5 with 2 runs scored, 3 RBIs for him. And then a couple other guys had 2 hits. Actually, Michael Brantley also had 2 hits in this one, as the Indians pounded out 18 hits in this game. Brantley had 3 hits. Lindor had 2. Yan Gomes had 3 hits. Kipnis 2 hits. Melky Cabrera had 2 hits. And this one, as he's helping out the Indians there. Jose Ramirez hit his 35th homer of the year for the Indians. For the Reds, they got a home run from Tucker Barnhart, his 8th. Scooter Gennett, his 18th. And Kurt Casale, his 3rd of the season for the Reds, but they lose 10-3. Rangers with the D-backs 5-3, as Bartolo Colon beats Zach Greinke. In this one, Colon gets his 7th win of the season. Greinke got hit by a home run by Robinson Chirinos, a 3-run shot that really made it kind of just sunk his start right there. That was a 3-run shot by Chirinos, his 16th of the season. They also got a home run from their young first baseman. That's Ronald Guzman hit his 13th of the season off Greinke as Bartolo Colon gets the win. He went 5 innings, a 3-run ball, 4 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts as they get that 5-3 victory at home there. And then we do the Cardinals game, and actually we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and do the next games on the side of the break, so everybody stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
All right, welcome back to GSMC Baseball Podcast on a Wednesday today here as we're going to finish up covering these games from the past 2 days as we left off. We didn't finish up Monday because it took so long talking about that Nationals-Cardinals game, but it's okay. We'll zip through these 2 days of games. I don't think it was a full slate yesterday. Maybe. We'll find out. Royals and Blue Jays on Monday started off a series as the Royals win 3-1 in this one as Brad Keller was pretty good pitching here as he went 7 innings of 1-run ball, 4 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, a homer allowed. That was the lone run he allowed. That was to Travis, his 9th of the year. The guy I can never remember his first name ever. Devin Travis, his 9th of the season, as that was the only run that Keller would give up actually in the very first inning. There, as he was very good as home runs for the Royals came from their the guy who actually played DH last night, but that's Ryan O'Hearn, first baseman, played DH last night, though, as he had his 2nd home run of the year, a 2-run shot there for the Royals. And then the A's and Mariners, the A's win 7-6. The Mariners tried to come back. A's were actually up 7-1 in this one, and the Mariners scored 2 in the 8th, 3 in the 9th, but that was all they would score, and the A's bullpen was able to close it out there for them. As the Mariners tried to threaten off of Blake Trinan, but he was able to get the save. As for Familia, after Jurius Familia couldn't get anybody out, he actually gave up 3 runs on. He gave up 3 runs on no hits, 3 walks. That's rough right there. As Trinan gave up the 2 hits that knocked in the runs, but he was able to close it down there and get his 31st save of the season. Shamanai was good, 7 2/3 innings pitched. 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts for him as he gets his 11th win of the season. No home runs in this game at all from either team as the A's win 7-6. And in the final game of Monday, Angels and Padres. Angels win 6-3 actually in 10 innings. It's a 2-2 ball game going to extra innings, and the Angels scored 4 times at the top of the 10th. The Padres added a run in the bottom of the 10th, but that was all they would get, and they lose 6-3. Home runs in this one came from Freddie Galvis, his 9th. Eric Hosmer hit his 11th of the year for the Padres. And for the Angels, they got a home run from Justin Upton, his 25th, and also from their young catcher. That is Jose Briceno. He hit his 3rd of the season for the Angels as the starter for the Padres was Clayton Richard was very good actually. He had no decision because of what happened in the 9th, or happened was nobody ever scored in the 9th inning. It was tied 2-2 going to extras. He went 8 innings of 2-run ball, 4 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts, a homer allowed. Angels win 6-3. All right, to Tuesday we go as Giants and Dodgers again from Dodger Stadium, renewing that rivalry. Is actually the rivalry was in full swing as in swinging punches at Nick Hundley from Yasiel Puig. We'll probably talk about that in the next segment as well, but just I mean, it's not the worst thing you can see. People are like, oh, the brawls in baseball, they're bad for the game. No, it's rivalry. It's Giants-Dodgers, Dodger Stadium in August, dog days of August. Both teams are, well, as of right now, they're both actually on the outside looking in both the wild card and the division race, especially because the Giants are winning these last 2 games, as the Giants do win 2-1 in this one on Tuesday, as they got 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th, or sorry, the top of the 9th inning to to take the lead again. They're up 1-0 the whole time. They had 2 runs. They scored 1 run. They're up 1-0 most of the game. Manny Machado tied it up in the bottom of the 8th inning, and then Giants were able to score a run in the top of the 9th on an Allen Hansen single. He's been the clutch guy for the Giants all year. As Andrew Suarez was the starter for the Giants, he was very good. Went 6 shutout innings, 2 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts for him. He gets no decision because Sam Dyson could not hold it. He gets the blown save there in the bottom of the or the top bottom of the 8th, but ends up getting the win, of course, because Will Smith comes in and gets the save, his 10th of the season. Alex Wood also was pretty good. 5 innings of 1-run ball, 3 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts for him. As there were no home runs in this game for either team. The Giants win 2-1. Brewers beat the Cubs 7-0. Jalees Chassin gets a shutout performance for him, as he was excellent in this one. 7 shutout innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts for the Brewers started there. He's now 12-4 on the season. Home runs for the Brewers came from Lorenzo Cain, his 9th. Ryan Braun hit 2, his 5th, 13th, and his 14th of the season, both off Jose Quintana. And that's actually Kratz, the catcher for the Eric Kratz, the catcher for the Brewers, that's his 4th of the season there for the Brewers, as they beat up on the Cubs pretty bad. Quintana giving up 5 runs through 5 innings of work, 3 homers there, and Jesse Chavez also gave up that one to Kratz there for the Cubs. They lose 7-0. On Tuesday, they actually started off a pretty cool series in Philadelphia, as the Red Sox went to Philly to play the Phillies, as they win actually 2-1 in this one, as Rick Porcello gets his 15th win of the season. He was also active on the base pass, too. He went and pitched 7 innings of 1-run ball, 2 hits, no walks, 10 strikeouts to give up a home run. The one run that the Phillies scored was a home run by Rhys Hoskins, his 23rd of the season, as Porcello at the plate was 1 for 2, also struck out, but did he score a run, or he came in and pinch hit? They had a pinch hit for him. That was Brock Holt, but he also got a hit and an RBI in this one, as actually I think that was the run that took the lead for him. Brock Holt hitting that home run in a pinch hit situation, his 3rd of the year, gave the Red Sox the lead there in the top of the 8th inning off the Phillies bullpen. So the Phillies, their bullpen, Tommy Hunter comes back to bite him a little bit. Pat Neshek was a good in the 7th, but Hunter in the 8th, giving up that home run in the pinch hit situation to Brock Holt. Red Sox win 2-1 in this one. Orioles beat the Mets 6-3 in Baltimore. Andrew Kashner gets the win. He's now that's his 4th win of the year, but he was pretty good. 7 innings of 2-run ball, 5 hits, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts for him. Home runs for the Orioles came from Adam Jones, his 13th. Chris Davis hit his 15th, and Tim Beckham hit his 8th of the season for the Orioles. The Mets did not have a home run in this game, as Jason Vargas gave up 2 runs over 6 innings of work, but took no decision because the game was decided later in the innings. The 2-2 tie was broken in the 7th there, and then the Orioles were able to pull away and win that one 6-3. Yankees beat the Rays 4-1 in New York, as Jay Happ gets his 13th win of the season. That's a good sign for the Yankees. He went 7 shutout innings, 1 hit, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts for Happ. Very good for him. Bullpen was good. Chances to give up a run, but that was after the Yankees had a 4-run or a 3-run lead at least in that one. Home runs for the Yankees was just the one by Austin Romine, his 8th of the season. The Rays had one from Adames, his 6th of the season, as he had that was the one home run off of Betances there. Willie Adames hitting his 6th of the year there. As the Rays, their little opener thing still kind of works, as they had Hunter Wood, or I think it was Hunter Wood, get that game started for them, and then they had a middle guy pitch 5 innings, but then had a Cleric come in and get the last 2 innings. But 4 runs, that's not bad. You give 4 runs, you think you can win some ball games, but Jay Happ was very good. White Sox beat the Tigers 6-3 in Detroit, as Lucas Giolito gets the win there, his 8th of the season for the White Sox. He was pretty good, beating Blaine Hardy, as Giolito in 6 innings, a 3-run ball, 8 hits, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Home runs for the White Sox came from their young left fielder. That's Ryan Lamar. Lamar hit his 1st of the year. Actually, it was his first career home run, as he hit one off of Hardy in the second inning there for the White Sox. Home runs for the Tigers were non-existent as they lose 6-3 there at home. Indians beat the Reds again. 8-1 was the score this time. Corey Kluber was very good in this one as the Indians, they set the tone real early in this one. 4 runs in the first, 2 in the second there in the other side of Ohio, South Ohio versus North Ohio. There in this battle of Ohio, Cleveland and Cincinnati. Home runs for the Indians came from Jose Ramirez, his 36th of the season as they win 8-1. Corey Kluber went 7 innings of 1-run ball, 5 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts for him. He gets his 15th win of the season. Braves beat the Marlins again 10-6 as they got 4 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning to break that 6-6 tie as Biddle gets the win in relief there, beating Adam Conley. Home runs for the Braves. Acuna hit 2 more home runs, his 18th and his 19th. So that's 4 home runs in the last 3 days, by the way. For the Braves, as I think, did he hit one? Actually, that's 4 home runs in 2 days. 2 days, 4 home runs. He hit 2 on Monday, 1 in each game because they had a doubleheader, and then Tuesday he hit 2 again in 1 game, as that was his 18th and his 19th of the season. Charlie Holberson added his 9th of the year. Freddie Freeman added his 20th of the season. As Anibal Sanchez. He gets no decision because he got 5 runs through 5 innings of work. The bullpen took care of it as the Braves were able to get that 4-run 7th inning to break that tie there and to get the win. D-backs beat the Rangers 6-4 in Texas as Patrick Corbin gets his 10th win of the season for Arizona as he was pretty good. 7 innings, a 3-run ball, 6 hits, no walks, 7 strikeouts for him as they get the home runs from Paul Goldschmidt, his 27th of the year. Alex Avila hit his 6th of the season. The Rangers didn't have any as they lose their 6-4 at home. Rockies beat the Astros again. Or the Astros losing home again, at least. I think it's game 1 of their series. 5-1 was the final score as Jermaine Marquez outdueled Justin Verlander. Verlander was good in this one. Rockies didn't score until the 6th inning, but they scored in the 6th, 2 in the 6th, and then 1 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th, and 1 in the 9th off of the Astros bullpen there as they're still kind of struggling in that bullpen. As Verlander gave up 2 runs over 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, no walks, 11 strikeouts. That home run was the big blemish, and that was to Nolan Arenado, his 30th of the season, a 2-run shot. Trevor Story added his 25th of the year for the Rockies, as Marquez was very good. 7 innings pitched, 1 run allowed, 3 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts for him as they stymied that Astros lineup. As still, no Altuve and no Springer. You got Correa back, and you still got Correa. It's still a darn good lineup. You got Marwin Gonzalez and you got Reddick and Gurriel in there. Gaddis, Correa, Bregman. Whew. Not worried about them, but no, they need to turn it around quickly. Twins beat the Pirates 5-2 in Minnesota. Jake Odorizzi gets the win for the Twins as he went 5 2/3 innings of 2-run ball. 4 hits, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts for him. Home runs for the Twins came from Miguel Sano, his 9th of the season. The Pirates did not have one, as Jameson Taillon gave up 3 runs over 7 innings of work, and the Pirates lose 5-2. Blue Jays beat the Royals 6-5 in Kansas City as Patricia gets the win there, as the home runs in this one came from nobody, from just one side, the Blue Jays. Pilar hit his 10th of the season, and then they got a home run from the young catcher, Danny Jansen, hit his first of his career there for the Blue Jays in that one. They win 6-5. Cardinals beat the Nationals again 6-4. The Nationals actually tried to come back in this one with 3 in the 8th, but that's all they would get as they lose 6-4. John Gant gets his that's his first home run of his career. I know that, as he gets I think it's his first hit of his career too. His first home run of the year as well. Second 2-run shot. Colton Wong hit his 8th of the season as Gant gets his 5th win of the season after 5 1/3 innings of 1-run ball, 4 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts for him as the Nationals lose again. They're now 60-60 on the season. And then the Mariners and A's win again. 3-2 was the win in this one. Mike Flowers beats Felix Hernandez Fiers went 6 innings of 2-run ball, 6 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts for him, a homer allowed. That was to Cameron Maben, his 4th of the season. The A's had a home run from Marcus Semien, his 10th, and Jed Lowry, his 19th of the season, as that was the 3 runs they scored all in the first 3 innings, and that's all they would need to win that one, as the bullpen was excellent. Fernando Rodney comes in and gets his first hold as an A, and Blake Trinan comes in and gets his 32nd save of the season, as he looks to be maybe in contention for that. Well, I don't know what they use, the Fireman Relief Award is whatever it is for relievers. And the final game of the day, Angels and Padres. Jaime Badia gets the win as the Angels win 6-7-3 in San Diego. Home runs from Padres came from Freddie Galvis, his 10th of the season. The Angels had one from Justin Upton, his 26th of the year. Badia was very good. 5 innings of 1-run ball, 6 hits, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, a home run allowed. And that was it. The Angels win that one in San Diego 7-3. All right, that'll wrap it up for the segment. We'll come back after the break and do some talk on the division races, what's going on around the league, Astros, if any problems there, who's hot, who's not kind of stuff right now. Obviously, we have a bunch of guys who are hot, and we'll talk about them on the other side. Stay tuned.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to GSMC Baseball Podcast on a Wednesday today here, as we're talking upcoming playoff pushes. Obviously, teams are already doing that. And, second-guessing teams and second-guessing moves they made. I know the Dodgers didn't give up everybody. For Machado, they gave up 1 top prospect and 4 mid-level prospects. And, they've lost 4 games in a row in the last inning. They've lost 4 games in a row in the team's final at bat. They had the 2 walk-offs in Colorado, and then the last 2 games against the Giants, where they had either the game was tied or they had a lead in the 9th inning, and were not able to hold it that way, and they ended up losing those games as well. So Machado. What's he got? 1 home run. I think Brian Dozier has done more for the Dodgers than Machado has. There you go. Obviously, there's more to be had. All it takes is 1 home run in September to get him into first place, and they win the division, and okay, it's all moot point. But at this point, we'll just have to beat. Remember, that's last time, yes, he did come up with a big knock against the Giants to tie the game up in the 8th inning. But then the bullpen comes and strikes again. They got to put a good starter, a guy who's actually been pitching well, in Kenta Maeda in the bullpen, because you've been so weak in the bullpen, and you haven't had injuries. Haven't got. That's kind of like playoffs 101. Yeah, you want to go get the big ticket guy is great. But look at the Dodgers. We talked about moves. Obviously it's August. They could still make moves. They could still go get a pitcher if they wanted to. But look what they did in 2012. They went and got all these bats, shipped all these people over to Boston, and brought them back. Then they get them back, and they get Adrian Gonzalez and Nick Punto and Carl Crawford over from the Red Sox in this massive trade. And who won the World Series that year? Oh yeah, the Giants. The Giants did. That's right. The Giants won the World Series that year, 2012. Giants won the World Series. Just gonna get quiet there for a second because the Giants won the World Series, and that's. I'm not trying to be fanboy over here, but I'm just telling you Bullpen. Giants went and traded for Javier Lopez. They went and got Jeremy Affeldt. They went and got Sergio Romo. Those are the big three. They call them the big three for a reason. They have 3 rings. Well, I think most of them have 3 rings. But yeah, it's funny though, seeing that you have this disparity, and then going to this season where it's just like, oh, we're going to shorten these games down. We're only going to let the starters go like 5-6 innings. We have these great bullpens and shut everybody down. I mean, even though the Astros won the World Series last year, basically without a bullpen. But what did they do this year? They revamped their bullpen. They went and got other arms. They moved Ken Giles. They went and got Ozuna. They get other arms. So you saw bullpens getting shored up all over the place. Brad Hand goes to the Indians. You got Johnny Ventures goes back over from that guy's career is crazy. Go look up if you want to hear about an interesting career in the major leagues. Go look up Johnny Ventures' Wikipedia page and read through his career timeline, because it's crazy, and see the gaps between the last time he was in the majors and now he's back on the team that he started with in the Braves, and looks to stir up their bullpen as well. I mean, that bullpen honestly is underrated, but has been pitching very nicely over the last few months. So good. I like the Braves. I would say whoever wins the NL East, in my mind, has had a real good shot. A real good shot. Braves or Phillies, either of those teams can, if they can get hot. I mean, it's going to take that's what it's going to take. That's why I think whoever wins between those two teams, because I think the Nationals, I'm done with the Nationals. They were going to try and trade Bryce. They were shopping Bryce Harper in the trade deadline. They're done. Mike Rizzo knows it too. They're done. Dave Martinez might end up being a 1 year manager. First you run Matt Williams out of town. You run Dusty Baker out of town. It's that franchise. It's just crazy. And their owner is kind of a wild card as well too. So Ted Lerner's got a wild hair up his nose. You never know what he's going to do. And then obviously you heard what the whole deal with their GMs and the things with Strasburg, and how Scott Boras has been involved in that organization, had his fingerprints all over it. But it is what it is with the Nationals. But back to my point with the NL East, you see these teams, the Giants in 2010 fighting their tooth and nail to get to a playoff spot. Same thing in 2014, fighting tooth and nail to get to I always can refer to the Giants because they've won 3 World Series in 4 or 5 years. They know what to do, and they've used momentum to push them into the playoffs. I mean, the only team, if you think about it, okay, last year was the Astros. They were semi-expected to win because of how good they were in the regular season and all the players they had, the rotation, everything getting Verlander. So the Astros and the Cubs, the last 2 years, those are teams that probably were favored and really pushed it and got into the playoffs and won. The year before that was the Royals. They actually were avenging their loss from the year before that, where the Giants, like the Royals did, won a wild card game, got into the playoffs because they were hot at the end of the year, which is what I'm saying. The NL East team that's hot is going to win the division. If the Phillies get hot at the end of the year, they'll win the division. If the Braves do, they'll win the division. It's been a 2 game. I don't think it's ever been more than 2 games. The lead between those two, the deficit between those two teams. Either way, whoever's on first place, the Phillies have had their chance in first place. The Braves are in first place now. I mean, it's flip-flop back and forth the last few weeks. So whoever gets hot, those two teams, they can go on a run because they have the rotations and they have the youth in their lineup. Honestly, the Braves, I think the Braves' youth in their lineup is a little more potent combined with their veterans than compared to the Phillies, where the Phillies' rotation might be a little bit better. I think when you have Eflin and Nola, even though there's no left-handed pitching in that rotation at all. I think the only lefty that the Braves had is Sean Newcomb. And then they have Voltanovich and Tehran and Anibal Sanchez, and you can narrow it down to 3 guys. All you got to do is narrow it down to 3 guys. The Phillies, my 3 guys for the Phillies, obviously, is Nolan, Eflin, and Nola, Eflin, and Jake Arrieta, just because of his postseason experience and stuff like that, and also he could be very effective as all right-handers. And I think that their lineup, if you mash up the 2 lineups together, just it's tough. Obviously, I like Carlos Santana. I like you got a little more youth/veterans where the younger players in the Phillies still have been in the league for multiple years, like Odubel Herrera or a Maikel Franco or even a Rhys Hoskins, who's had experience in the league last year, almost won a Rookie of the Year last year. Or actually, did he win Rookie of the Year last year after playing 3 months? And the Braves, they have Camargo, unimproven. Really in the stretch run in the playoffs. Acuna, first year. Albies is his first year. Markakis hasn't really done that much in the late. Actually, he did have some postseason experience with the Orioles, and then Freddie Freeman as well. But yeah, they keep getting production obviously from those players. There's nothing wrong. And I've been talking about this NL East for a while here, but we'll get to the A's and Rockies in a bit here too as well, because I think whoever wins the East is going to be on a good roll, and then whoever doesn't is probably going to have that wild card and likely get the first wild card if the Brewers don't stay where they are. If the Brewers might win, the thing is, you have like I said, the National League's been the same way for the last 2 months. You got two front runners in the West. I'm sorry, you have actually 3 front runners in the West if you want to count throw the Rockies in there. The Giants are still in it, and then in the Central you have 2 front runners, and then if you want to put the Cardinals, they're still in it. Pirates, I think are kind of done. I think that trade for Chris Archer, they're going to regret. Maybe it'll work out because he has years on his contract left, so they can keep him in their rotation and make him a centerpiece of their rotation. But giving up Austin Meadows and Tyler Glasnow, and then they found out yesterday that the player to be named later in that trade was the Pirates' #1 prospect, Shane Baz, goes over to the Rays in that deal as well. So the Pirates, we'll see what how they think about that down the road, but it is what it is. I think they're kind of out of it. So you have 3 teams in the Central, really, 2 front runners and the Cardinals. In the East, you have, I guess you could say, 2 front runners in the Nationals with the Braves and Phillies. And in the West, you have 2 front runners in the Dodgers and the Cardinals. And the Dodgers and the D-backs. But the Rockies right now, as of right now, the Rockies are actually a game back of the D-backs, and the Dodgers are 2. So, and then you have the Giants 5 games back. So, lots of different options in the National League. All those teams I just said are going to be fighting for those 2 wild card positions. Like I said, there's 11 teams fighting for 6 or 5 spots. So you're going to have 6 teams going downhill. So, or not making it. Well, they'll figure that out. And then in the Rockies, obviously being one of them, Rockies, that team, talk about a streaky team. Talk about a streaky team. Obviously, they get the big weekend against the Dodgers in Colorado, winning those walk-offs. You have your best player go down, and his next man up scenario. I mean, you gotta love that. Obviously, even if you're a baseball fan, sports fan, the whole next man up mentality of a team can be really awe-inspiring. And the fact that they had the kid McMahon come in for Nolan Arenado and hit 2 big home runs. He hit one, I think, on Friday and on Saturday. The Saturday one was the walk-off. Friday, I think, it was to take the lead in the 8th inning, and they won that game too. So, and the walk-off, obviously, on Friday, and then the Rockies win on a walk-off walk on Sunday at home. So that's big for them. And they obviously get the off day, and they win in Houston. They get the win in Houston. They beat Justin Verlander. They're getting good pitching. I think that's what's going to come back to bite them. Both those A's and Rockies, their bullpens are... Well, A's bullpen is very, very good. The Rockies bullpen is decent. It's okay when it's on. Oberg and Ottavino and Wade Davis, obviously, the back end can be effective, but they also, like everybody else, they have leaked oil before as well. And then you have the A's, where the A's and Rockies are actually a very similar team. Where they can get really hot, and they can look really, really good, and then it's like, how are they this good? Their rotation is okay. Their lineups really... The thing is, both of them have solid lineups. Top to bottom, their lineups are solid. I mean, the A's, if you get Chris Davis going, Judd Lowry, the young players with Chapman and Olsen are on it. Simeon's honestly hitting. He's doing fine this year. He's playing a good shortstop. It used to be where he was a liability at shortstop. Now looks like he's just fine. And then you got the more young players with the kid that just brought up from AAA. I can't remember his name. Laureano, I think is his name. And then you have obviously Dustin Fowler out there, and another good young players who make plays, or making plays left and right, or getting big hits left and right, and they're doing good things for the A's. And you get the same thing from the Rockies, where it's going to come down to that rotation, I think, for both these teams. But if they want to make runs in the playoffs, I think the A's obviously are in better scenario right now. Actually, both of them are only a game back of first place. So the A's don't play at mile high altitude, so I think that they have a better chance of maybe sustaining this as they had over the last month. The Rockies have been kind of up and down for the last month, and now they won 4 or 5 in a row, coming off that series with the Dodgers, getting the win yesterday. So but the thing is, can you think they can sustain it for the next 2 months and a half in that stadium? That's the question. The A's, they have a little more room to work with, I think, obviously with their stadium, and then obviously the games head-to-head they have with the Mariners and the Astros. They know it's just Mariners and Astros. The Rockies, they need to beat everybody. They need to beat the Dodgers. They need to beat the D-backs. They need to handle the Giants. They need to handle everybody. The A's, it's pretty much just the Mariners and Astros. That's all they need to worry about. And then hope the Yankees can lose a couple more games too, and see if maybe if you don't win the division, you can sneak into that first wild card and maybe host the game against the Dodgers or against the Yankees. Yankees come the end of the year. So that's what's going to happen. All right, we'll come back and talk a little bit more about the Astros, the Angels, Rockies, wild card, whatever we want to do here at the back end of the show. We'll start that off with in the next segment, then we'll go into the games, previewing and giving you the pitching matchups for today and tomorrow. So everybody stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Want to know the latest in soccer? Then listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast. From MLS, the World Cup, and the Premier League, we've got you covered. The latest updates, the hottest matches, and news on the league's top players. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast.
David Beckham scores the goal to take England all the way to the World Cup finals.
Listen now.
All right, welcome back to GSMC Baseball Podcast on a Wednesday today here, as we're going to finish up the show with them talk. Well, just finishing up our talk on the A's and Rockies, and it's just funny because I typed them up there because they were two teams that are kind of trying to push their way into the top of the divisions in their respective divisions. The A's, I mean, and they're both. You find more and more similarities between the two teams, and they're just the situations, team build up to a certain point. And I kind of just found them as I go along here. As we found out during that second segment, like, okay, well, yeah, they both have very good lineups. They both have kind of weird starting rotations that are kind of taking them certain ways, where they have a good top end starter that, they're both left-handed too. Tyler Anderson's left-handed, and so is Sean Manaea. And then after that, it's kind of like, all right, the A's got Mike Fiers. Rockies haven't been done that much to their rotation, but I still have some interesting guys in there with, obviously, Chad Bettis coming back. Great story for him. Then you got Jermaine Marquez, pitched great yesterday in Houston. And then I'm trying to think of the rest of the rotation, and it's kind of escaping my mind at this point right now. But I'll think of it in a second here. But I mean, obviously they lose. I mean, they go away from Tyler Chatwood. He goes to the Cubs and gets demoted to a certain point. Looking here, see who's going to start today for the Rockies in Houston as they go at it again against the Astros. Once it decides that it wants to give me the information, we'll do that. But no, just the only difference is the A's have better bullpen. The Rockies have good arms back there. They can be very good. Ottavino can be good. So can Wade Davis, can be very good. John Oberg as well, but they've had a little more shakiness compared to the A's. Have been much more stalwart, but it is what it is. Looking right now, the Astros Rockies is going to be Tyler Anderson against Garrett Cole today. So I mean that makes sense, but that's a good little matchup right there. That you'd have two of your top guys, because Marquez has been pitching that well for the Rockies lately, that he is becoming one of the top guys. Let's see them. They actually jump right on a plane. They play tomorrow in Atlanta, and both teams have not announced starters yet. So unless they're just not giving me much information. But the app's not loading now. But they don't have any starters for anything. But Tyler Anderson versus Garrett Cole. And then who started on? Well, I'm gonna look back. I need to get, because I know they have. This is bothering me. I mean, I should know their starting rotation to a certain point. Who started on Saturday? Let's go there. Nope, don't want to do it. Well, only as good as the technology goes here. I can't write. If I want to find something out, I have no. Obviously, you have notes written down, but then you have one thing. Oh, I want to go figure something out. Let's use this handy little app that should be able to get it for me in the matter of seconds. But it's taking its sweet old time to do anything here. All right, I guess it doesn't really want to load these games up for me at all. Tyler Chatwood, Brandon Anderson. Let's see who started on the second. Oh, Chad Bettis started. Okay, so that's the other person that I know that started. Chad Bettis. Tyler Anderson, Chad Bettis, Jermaine Marquez. Who started on... Oh, that's right, Kyle Freeland. He's pretty good too. So you got a couple guys. I'm going to throw Kyle Freeland. And then obviously that's no team. I mean, unless you're the Astros, you have 5 starters that are just like dynamite, all 5 of them. Even Dallas Keuchel's had it down here, even though that's the guy that won the Cy Young Award for them, but that's what it is. A's and Rockies. I think only one of them will make the A's should make the playoffs. They're actually the only one of these two teams are actually in a playoffs position right now. The A's are in a playoff spot in the American League wildcard, especially after winning those 2 games today and yesterday against the Mariners and really pushing themselves up onto into their own in that wild card in the American League, as they sit now 3.5 games up on the Mariners, 3.5 back of the Yankees in that second wild card. They are in the American League after winning 4 in a row, 2 of them obviously against the Mariners. So yeah, that's the A's. They're sitting in a wild card spot. The Rockies are not. The Rockies are 1.5 back in the wild card, 1 back in the division. So, I mean, they're both right there. So, I mean, both take 1 week and you could be in first place. The A's could be in first place by the end of this week. So could the Rockies. So, I mean, you never know. The Rockies, honestly, right now could help the A's by winning tonight in Houston or maybe today. I mean, that game is actually, the game is tonight. It's 5:10 Pacific time. So, before they jump on a plane to Atlanta, the Rockies do. The A's will be finishing up their series with the Mariners before they have an off day, and then they'll be hosting the very Astros. So there you go. The A's could be in first place in the American League West by next week, and that's pretty crazy. All right. Going into looking at the wild card in the National League we just did, I want to give you just a little update here. I said, so right now, as it stands right now, after play on Tuesday, the Milwaukee Brewers hold a 1-game lead in the first wild card over the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies hold a 1-game lead over the St. Louis Cardinals, who have won, like I said, won 7 in a row, 9 of the last 10, late in games, every single way you could win a baseball game now, as they're a game back of the Phillies. The Rockies are a game and a half back, Dodgers 2.5, Pirates 5, Giants 5.5, and the Nationals 6 back in that wild card there for the National League. And in the American League, you have, like I said, the Yankees still 3.5 up on the A's, and then they're 3.5 up on the Mariners with the Rays and Rays and Angels both 11.5 back, as it kind of drops off there in the American League. Angels, huh? Look at that. My rant on the Angels is finally becoming more. I mean, for those who were mad at me for ranting on the Angels way back in June or July or end of May, I'm being justified right now, vindicated for sure. All right, let's jump into the games for today and tomorrow, as we'll start off in LA. Giants Dodgers will be a pair of lefties again for the 3rd game in a row between these two teams, Giants and Dodgers. Derek Holland for the Giants against Hyunjin Ryu for the Dodgers. White Sox and Tigers finish up their series. It'll be Carlos Rodon against Jordan Zimmerman. Pirates and Twins from Minnesota. It'll be Chris Archer and Jose Barrios. That'll be a cool little game there in Minneapolis. Brewers Cubs again from Wrigley Field. Junior Guerra against Kyle Hendricks. Mariners and A is a must-win. I think it's a must-win for the Mariners. They'll want to get 4.5 back in that wild card, and then every loss pushes them further down in the division standing as well. They'll face the A's again. Mike Leake against Brett Anderson. Phillies and Red Sox, cool series. Nathan Eovaldi against Vince Velasquez. Red Sox took a really close one last night, 2-1. Mets and Orioles, Zach Wheeler against Dylan Bundy. Rays and Yankees, it'll be Faria making a start for the Rays. I'm not sure if he's going to be an opener versus it'll be the young right-hander for the Yankees, Luis Sessa, making another start there for New York there at home. The Indians and Reds, it'll be Shane Bieber against a starter for the Reds is going to be Robert Stevenson making another start for him. He's had some experience in the major leagues, as now he'll come up and make another start, his second one of the year for the Reds. I don't know if it's a start or if it's his second appearance, maybe his first start of the year. Marlins and Braves from Atlanta, it'll be Jose Urena versus Jacob Gausman. Rockies, Astros, we just said, it'll be Tyler Anderson against Garrett Cole. Blue Jays and Royals, it'll be Marco Estrada against, this is another Lopez. This is Jorge Lopez for the Royals. Making another start for him. He's been pretty good. Nationals and Cardinals, Jeremy Hellickson against, this is Gomber for the Cardinals, Austin Gomber. Angels and Padres, it'll be Felix Pena against Robbie Erland. All right. That's for today. And then tomorrow, it'll be for the Rays and Yankees, Blake Snell against Masahiro Tanaka. That'll be a good little matchup. Mets and Phillies are playing 2 games on Thursday to make up a rain out. It'll be Steven Matz for the Mets against a starter to be determined, as the Phillies actually do not have either of their starters for tomorrow's game. It'll be Steven Matz for the game 1 for the Yankees, for the Mets, and then Corey Oswalt in game 2 for the Mets in Philadelphia. Cubs start a series with the Pirates in Pittsburgh. John Lester against Ivan Nova. Nationals, Cardinals again from St. Louis. It'll be Tanner Roark against Jack Flaherty. Rockies, like I said, go to Atlanta. Both teams have not announced starters yet for that game. Angels, Rangers from Texas. The Angels do not have a starter yet announced, but whoever it is will be facing Ariel Urado for the Texas Rangers there. Tigers and Twins, it'll be Francisco Liriano against Irvin Santana. Blue Jays and Royals, it'll be Sam Gaviglio versus this is Sparkman for the Royals. They're really working out their youth, as Glenn Sparkman will come up and make a start for the Royals. And then D-backs and Padres on Thursday will be Clay Buchholz against this is Jacob Nix. Yeah, so I thought I could say Nix. I'm pretty sure his name's Jacob. I don't want to mess it up, but it is Jacob Nix making the start for the Padres tomorrow at home against the D-backs, as that series will get started. I'm assuming a 4-game series over the weekend for the D-backs and the Padres. So some NL West tilts. We got some interleague stuff going on. We got some series getting finished up, some series getting started, as that's how it works on a Thursday, depending on whoever takes off days or whatnot. But that's how it works in the scheduling as we come down this stretch. Well, we're getting to the stretch run. We're going to be seeing rosters expand in the next week or 2 weeks, actually. September 1st, you'll see rosters expand to 40, or actually 25 right now. Does it go all the way to 40, get 15 more guys? I always thought that was crazy. It might be 35, so you get 10 more guys. So those bullpens are really going to stretch out. Obviously your bench is going to stretch out a lot. You're going to see all these young guys coming up and see who earns a chance to get called up. I think it's 30. I think it goes to 30. You get 5 more guys. That's crazy. Getting 15 guys. That's crazy. I think it's 30. You get 5 call-ups. That makes sense. You get 2 bench guys and 3 relievers. That's all you need anyways coming into the season. So I'm pretty sure it's 30. I could double check for you, because sometimes I hear it say it says the rosters expand a lot, but it's not that much. Hold on, I'm going to see rosters. Expanded roster. Okay, so that's the 40-man roster. I don't want September call-ups. Okay, so yeah, no. The September 1st, the Major League roster expands from a 25-man active roster to the entire 40-man roster. At this point, any player on the expanded roster on August 31st may play for the Major League team. There you go. So, because the minor league season is 40 men, but I don't think teams use every single one. They might, if they actually play 15 more guys, that'd be kind of crazy. But because the minor league seasons, they end at the end of this month, and you're gonna see the major league team starting plucking some guys, and hey, we need some help here, we need some help there. All right, that'll wrap it up for the show today, guys. We'll come back on Friday and recap the games that is previewed for you for today and tomorrow, and then we'll preview, of course, the weekend, as it should be a big one in as it always is going to be. A's Astros. We're going to see the A's become first place in the American League West. We saw that it was never going to have a chance, but the Astros catch the injury bug at the wrong time. Can't win at home right now. They got to get a win against they got Garrett Cole tonight, but against a tough lefty and Tyler Anderson. So we'll see how that works out. That'll be a good game to pay attention to. Rockies and Astros from Houston. So everybody have a good Wednesday. Go watch some baseball. We had Giants Dodgers again tonight as well. So, and then also Phillies and Red Sox. That'll be a good one too out west. So you got a good one in this out west, a good one in the central time zone, and a good one out east. So I meant in Philadelphia for that Red Sox Phillies game. So everybody have a good one. We'll talk to you on Friday. Bye.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.